Okay, so I want people to keep in mind, nobody has a better comprehension of the activity that's been happening towards me except for me. I'm the only person who's been here 24/7 experiencing it. And it's difficult for me to put in a chronological order for people how I started getting what you call gang stalk, and then I got from where I am to where I am here today. And so this is one thing that happened to me. I went to Phoenix back around April of 2016, March or April 2016. I think it was April 2016. I went to Phoenix, Arizona, and the reason why I went to Phoenix is because I wanted to get away from the gang stalking that was happening. It started in the summer of 2015, and then in April of 2016, I was just like, you know what, I want to get out and get away and experience something different and experience something new. So I went to Phoenix, and I just started jump roping and exercising and listening to like Muhammad Ali motivational videos and Muhammad Ali fights. And when I was a little boy, I had met Muhammad Ali, and so it was interesting to me. And so I came up with the idea, like, wait a minute, I'm a researcher anyway. I'm a conspiracy researcher, alternative researcher, and so I'm used to presenting information online. And so I said, wait a minute, you know, this is all happening to me everywhere I go. There's people following me. It was happening in Muskegon. Now it's happening in Phoenix. It happened all the way to Phoenix. I took a bus to Phoenix, all the way to Phoenix. I was being followed around by people with lights on the highway and all that stuff. And I discovered no matter where I go, no matter what I'm doing, no matter who I'm around, there's some sort of network that insists on invading my privacy and contracting individuals who have no business being around me, no business following me, no business knowing anything about me to come into my life. And if I meet somebody who is a friend of mine or I like, that person's going to be even more susceptible to being used to do something to me, to harm my life, to harm my social activity. If it's just driving by me up and down the street, looking at me, and stuff like that, that then they'll hire the person to do that, and that's a destruction to my life, because it's already occurring with multiple other people around me 24/7. So, and it's way more, it's much more destructive in somebody's life than what people think. If it hasn't happened to an individual, then they really have no real ground to speak on the effects of it, unless it's happened to them. And so anyway, in the summer, or in April, I came back to Michigan after spending a couple weeks in Phoenix, and then I came up with the idea to create courses and all this stuff to help people beat gang stalking. And that's where all those videos come from in the summer of 2016, where I'm sitting there talking about the only person in the world to ever beat gang stalking stuff. I want to create a set of courses and design some courses to help people who did not know what was going on. That stuff is designed for people who don't know what's happening. People who've never even heard of gang stalked, who are being gang stalked, and they're trying to figure out what's happening to them, or people who it's been happening to for a while, and they just wanted some motivation. And so that's what those videos were about. And then the whole neighborhood I lived at was involved in this stuff. People just come outside periodically, and there's a name for it called assignments. But basically people come outside their house and wear certain colors and do certain stuff that affects the person psychologically that they're familiar with. Like, they do things that only the person who is directed towards is most familiar with. And so I had to live like that 24/7. Then this whole thing with the girl I sent the flowers to, her and her family were doing this to me. And then everywhere I went, like, I could go to Grand Haven and she would follow me to Grand Haven. I could go to any part of Muskegon. And so a lot of people don't get it. A lot of people are like, well, why didn't you you were on YouTube talking about you cared about this girl, then you were talking about how this girl was following you around and all that stuff. Why didn't you just move to Grand Haven? Why didn't you just move to Grand Rapids? Why didn't you just move to North Muskegon? Why didn't you just get out of the area? It's not like that. This is a network, and not only were they hiring that girl 24/7, they were hiring other women who look like that girl. Okay, now getting past that. So I got basically, like, I got set up for a crime I didn't commit. They actually switched. The girl that I sent the flowers to was never in the police report. She was never in the courtroom. And and there was no situation me trying to pull anybody on any car. And they switched all the facts around, and the police were working with the family, and they switched all the facts around. And so, getting past that point, so I ended up in jail for a year for a crime I didn't commit. I was out on bond for 7 months, and then the whole time I was out on bond, these people were all still following me around. And then the whole time I was meeting, like if I go and meet some new people, these people would try to pay these individuals to do something to me, and it's difficult for me. I don't know how they explain it to each and every individual. Like some people, they'll come up with some nefarious story about me, but whatever they're doing, they're hiring these individuals on a weekly income or just a one-time deal or a monthly. I don't know, to do this stuff, and the whole why, it's so silly. It's like, why? If they had done this a little bit, and it would have made sense. Like if I didn't know who the people were, but I know who some of these people are that do this, and it's been going on for so long. What's the point of it? It doesn't make any sense to hire a network is hired. Our network is used to gaslight people. Drive around with their lights on in broad daylight and harass people and pay people's friends and stuff. It doesn't really make sense why somebody would be so pressed on doing that to somebody, but it's something that's happening though. It's like it's a reality. So anyhow, so in the summer of 2018, I created a bunch of more interviews called Education on Gang Stalking. Then I have all this footage and all this stuff, and so I have a bunch of stuff. But in the summer of 2016, a lot of people, I look back on my motivational videos, and I'm looking at them more realistically. Even though, like, I wasn't really happy when I was doing those videos. I was happy enough that I was helping people. It was pretty fun to do those videos to help people. I talked to a lot of people on the phone. A lot of people contacted me for assistance and help. But I was still being followed around and harassed and all that stuff. That's the whole reason why I had to go on there and talk about, like I sent this girl flowers and all this stuff, and they wanted, like they were having this girl follow me in different cars. Like it was so crazy. Like first the girl was following me around with all white people. Then after my arrest, this girl starts following me around with all black people and stuff. It just didn't make any sense. And then there was like Hispanic people. Like the whole thing didn't make any sense. It wasn't really like, to somebody paying attention to me on YouTube, it probably seemed like a story I was just explaining, but this was something that was occurring. And it's not, I don't know. I just look at it like it's not really who I am anymore. Like the stuff that happened to me, going through all this stuff, like it's not really. Those are my videos. That's my educational work, but it's not really like descriptive of who I am. Like I'm an independent researcher. The only reason why I was being gang stalked is because I was doing research. Or it was something in my, I don't know why. I just know I'm an independent researcher. I do research on esoteric subjects, conspiracy subjects I ended up being gang stalked. I put the information on there. And then my personal life, like, got brought into it because I was trying to explain to people what was going on. But I don't see why, I don't see realistically why I should, like somebody or care about somebody or meet somebody or know somebody. And I'm speaking about all of it, like all the different people, like literally people who don't even know me just sit there and follow me around. People who do know me follow. It doesn't make any sense, and it just doesn't. And like as time goes on, I've created all these videos and all this information for people. And people like email me and say, "Oh, thank you." Like I get emails all the time from people, and they'll be like, I was suicidal, or I was homicidal, or I didn't know what to do. I was having a breakout. I saw your information, and it made me figure out what was going on, or it helped me. and I'm like, man, that's wonderful, but at the same time, I don't really like. I went through a court case. And I was framed for a crime I didn't commit, and so my name's so fucked up, and nobody gets what they're seeing, and so it's like, do people really know? Like, do people really know what's going on? You know, I don't.